Hi everyone, this is Nathan Ware with Rain Networks, and today we're going to do part 3 of our video series on ProofPoint Essentials, which is our cloud-hosted email filtering platform that we use with a lot of our clients. In today's video, in part 3 here, we're going to talk about putting your web domain into the system, how you do that, how you go through the verification process, and then how you manage the settings for your domain. So as you can see here, I am logged into the portal, and where we're going to go here today is company settings in the upper left, and then underneath here in the submenu, we're going to go to domains. So this is where you manage your domains. As you can see here, there's a new domain button, and so this is where you would put in a new domain. When you put in a new domain here, you want to make sure, assuming that you're going to filter the email for this domain, you want to make sure and set it to relay. Very, very important that you set it to relay. In the next field down, delivery destination, this is where you're going to input the server address for your email server. So, mail.testabc.com. Okay, so this is where you're going to put your mail server, and as you see, they give you 4 spots here for failovers in case you have backup email servers or whatnot that you also want to put in here. I do have a separate video that talks a little bit about the verification process. This is where you verify ownership of your domain. It's very similar to what some of you have done with, say, Office 365 or Google Apps, where you're going to go out and you're going to put a TXT record in your DNS entries, and then have, in this case, ProofPoint go and verify that that TXT record exists, which then in turn verifies that you actually own the domain. Again, I have a separate video that covers this, but you absolutely have to verify that you own the domain if you're going to use it within ProofPoint. So make sure that you do not skip that step. It's very critical. But this is in general how your domain section is going to look. The key things here is that you set the domain purpose to relay, and you put in the correct mail server in the delivery destination section. Okay, coming back here to the domain screen, the next thing I want to touch on is this little green slider bar. He is extremely important to the operation of the email service. If he is not clicked over to the green, he is in the off position. The green is the on position. If he's clicked into the white position like that, that means that email relaying has been turned off for that domain, and ProofPoint will then bounce all the email that comes in for that domain. So obviously you would not want that. So make sure that when you're setting up your ProofPoint service that you click him over to green so that that activates mail relaying. Okay, the next thing I'll cover here is the 3 little buttons over to the right. These are very important. Obviously, a little trash can button will delete domains if you want to get rid of a domain. The pencil is where you go in to edit the domain. That's going to get you back into this screen here where we were in earlier, where we can put in our mail server or whatnot. So this is the edit domains section. And then the third icon is this little clipboard with a check mark. And this is where you test your domains. There's a couple things here that this tests. First of all, it tests that your MX records are set where they should. Now, assuming that you're migrating from another email service, or maybe you don't have an email service, these will not be set to these 2 servers here. These are the actual ProofPoint servers. So ProofPoint's going to say, hey, your MX records are not set to ProofPoint, but here are the 2 servers that you're going to use for your MX records. And so they're going to give you the correct MX entries here. Down here is the SMTP destination. This verifies that ProofPoint can make a port 25 connection to your server. Very, very important. So where this comes into play a lot, I see people with on-premise Exchange servers, for example. They will a lot of times lock down their firewall so that they only accept port 25 traffic from, say their current mail filtering service. So let's say that they were using McAfee's MX Logic service for their mail filter. They would put in just the IP addresses that McAfee uses to send mail, and they would lock out everything else. Well, that means ProofPoint's not going to be able to connect to you. So you're going to need to edit your firewall settings, put in the ProofPoint IP addresses so that ProofPoint can send you email, and make sure that this test passes. You can see right now we use Office 365, So ProofPoint is saying we can establish a connection to this server on port 25. But if you had your firewall locked down, it would say, hey, we can't connect to you on port 25. That could result in bounce messages. This is very, very crucial that you get a positive test here on this SMTP destination before you switch your MX records to ProofPoint. Okay, so that's the key things for managing domain for inbound settings. I'm going to do a whole separate video on outbound server settings because there are some unique situations there, but this will get you to where you can filter inbound mail messages through ProofPoint and get started with the service. Okay, thanks a lot. And again, come back later for our next video, which will touch on outbound server settings.